What's up, everybody? It's your boy Bobby, and I'm here with the Gator Gang Network members,
No.
Lucas and Daryl. How are you guys tonight?
We're doing good.
I'm ready to talk about some football.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's what we're gonna do here tonight. Um, and so, instead of watching all the old games that we've been watching, now we get to talk about something live that just happened. It's in the moment, and I couldn't have been more excited to watch a game because a couple months ago we were talking about maybe not even having football, not having anything at all, and we finally get into game week. We get one game in the books, and I gotta say that after 1 week, I think our offense is looking pretty good for one game after not having no spring and not really the typical fall camp that you're used to. So with that said, Florida came into this game with a lot of unknowns, especially of how to prepare for Ole Miss. With Ole Miss having a new coach, new scheme, new basically everything. So coming away with that 51-35 win was huge. And Lucas, I'm gonna start with you. From the start of that game to the finish of your game, what were your takes of the offense? Let's talk
The
about the offense.
offense played super good, but the defense needs to play a lot better if we're gonna win. If we're gonna go where we need to go, the defense needs to play a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. Darryl, what's your take on beginning to end of the offense?
Oh yeah, I mean, we were a little unsure, but obviously, offense is on fire, and I mean, Trask is putting up Joe Burrow like numbers. So let's keep that going throughout the season, and if we have to outscore everybody, then let's do it.
Absolutely. The one thing that I took away on offense of what I really liked in is the Kyle to Kyle connection. Kyle Trask to Kyle Pitts, 9 targets, 8 receptions, 170 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, they just look like they've been doing this.
Yes,
They just look so composed, so ready. I mean, I was really amazed on the one touchdown that Kyle Pitts had when he really had to, kind of adjust his body in the end zone. Had two people on him, and he turns his body completely around and gets the ball. I'm like, Kyle Trask put it where only his receiver could get it, or nobody's going to get it, and I
yeah.
like that.
I mean,
That's
I don't
that's
even
the
know
kind
how
of
you
leadership
defend
that
that guy.
I want to see.
I don't even know how you defend him when you see what he was doing. I mean, that double team coverage and then that turnaround and catch. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Absolutely, he's a mismatch no matter which way you put it on. Because if you put a corner on him, a cornerback is probably about a 5'10" to 6 foot. He's six
Yeah.
six, so that's a
That's way
mismatch.
too small.
And then he's got the speed, on the linebacker. So if you put him there, match him against a linebacker, he's gonna outbeat him. So, like you say, he's gonna be a hard player to cover.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom line.
I
But
think he's the best tight end in the country, and it's not even close.
I think
I
you're
don't
right.
even.
I think he is the best tight end in the country. Putting up numbers like that from a tight end is just amazing. But Florida Trask had 11 different receivers catch the ball. So Daryl, I'm gonna go with you on this. So, what did you think about like the whole like what? Okay, what did you see in the what we needed to improve on offense to compared to what we were doing last year?
Yeah. So there was a couple times where the pocket broke down a little bit for Trask, and I like the fact that instead of he didn't he scrambled out of the pocket, but he kept those eyes down the field. And there was multiple times where he made connections even after the pocket broke down. Maybe last year we probably would have maybe just panicked a little bit and took a sack or even threw the ball away. But instead, he focused down the field. He got out of the pocket. I like that. He found Kyle so many times and a couple key players like Tony and uh, oh my goodness, the running back. I can't even think of his name.
Malik
Malik
Davis
Davis.
had a good,
Malik Davis. I
yeah.
mean, finding those guys under pressure. Um, I mean that we didn't see that last year, so that right there stuck out
Yeah, that was
I'll
that
tell
was
you.
huge.
I'll tell you what. Malik Davis really impressed me, and the entire running game as a whole really impressed me. After last year, when we couldn't run the ball, we won 11 games and couldn't run the ball, and then we can come out and run for over 100 yards. I'm really impressed with the running game. I know it's early, but
Yeah,
And the
you know.
offense,
Go ahead, Darryl.
the offensive line did look better, and I think considering the lack of practice, they look pretty good. That will get better as the season goes on, I imagine.
Yeah. In the receive or in the running game is what I wanted to see improvement on, and we had 196 yards rushing. Um, I mean, our longest run was a 50-yarder by Kadarius Tony, and that was on the play that you see him get that, and he just kind of stumbled and made
Hmm.
made something happen out of it, and got real far. Everybody wants to compare him to Percy Harvin, and
I mean,
he don't have the top end speed Percy Harvin had, but he does have the cuts that Percy
Yep.
had. So I think that's where the comparison lies. But I think that's all you can say about comparing the two.
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't,
No.
I don't think there will ever be a Percy Harvin type player for Florida.
And we could get him. With what we're doing and where we're going, those type of players are out there, and we can get them. Do we have them right now? We probably do. But we'll just see how
Probably
it goes.
David Copeland's probably the closest. I
Hmm.
mean,
Going through the rushing, uh, Kadarius Toney had 2 carries for 55 yards. Damian Pierce 9 carries for 54 yards. Malik Davis 7 carries for 49 yards. Emory Jones 4 carries for 37 yards. Kyle Trask 3 carries for 2 yards, and Naquan Wright 4 carries for -1 yards. Um,
there you go.
so that was the rushing. Nothing huge, nothing that's eye opening in the running game yet, but we're we're,
We did
we're
run
getting
for over.
you
We did
know
run for over 100 yards. So
Yeah,
yeah, we
and
that's
did
you
run
know
for over 100.
we don't necessarily have to have big blowout runs, but we do have to keep the other defenses, in check, so that way those passes for Kyle become more open, right? So
Yeah,
I'm not expecting to get huge runs every game day, but if we can say that 100, a game, I mean that's kind of keeping
that's a
the
good
other
balance.
defense off.
Yeah,
It's a good balance because we know right now we're a passing team. We were a passing team last year, and we're going to pass the ball, especially if Kyle's putting up numbers like that. So that's going to happen. We just need that little bit of running, especially when we get in that red zone and goal to go kind of downs. Got to be able to punch it in there.
yeah, exactly.
I'll
Um,
tell you. I'll tell you who I was really impressed with was Ventrell Miller.
Yeah, we'll get on the defensive side of the ball. But those of you who are watching and tuning in right now, all 6 of y'all, thank y'all for watching. Drop some comments of what y'all thought about the game, and there is a area in the description where you can click on the link, and just that way I will be able to see your name because all it says is Facebook user. So if you click on that link, make it to where answer the little question, approve that you're okay with your name going on to the thing, so we can address who the comments are from, because
Yeah,
that's
actually
huge.
there's one there, Bobby, talking about the offense and defense. Can you bring that one up? That one's good.
Yes. Gators have a lot of work to do on defense, and the offense looks real good, and the offense did, but the defense needs work. Yes. Speaking about the defense, they had their moments of looking real good, and they had their moments of not being able to tackle. And as Dan Mullen had alluded to in the post-game press conference, they only were able to tackle 2 times during the little
Yeah.
fall camp that they got. So that's what I was saying earlier. Of like, you really didn't get that traditional fall camp like you're used to because you couldn't have so many players in a group. You couldn't have all this. You had a social distance. With the whole 9 yards of that, it really breaks up how you go about doing your fall camp. So not being able to tackle was a huge problem on the defense, which I think from game one to game two will be a whole lot better. Um, there's not a whole lot that we're like really missing on defense when you look at not having the players on defense that we didn't have. No Sean Davis, with him getting ejected in the game. No Brad Stewart. And
I
a couple
honestly,
others that were out.
I honestly think that hurt our defense too, not having Sean Davis out there.
Exactly, exactly. So, Lucas, what were your takes on the defensive end?
We need to tackle better, and we need to learn how to not give up big plays. And I'll tell you who really impressed me was Ventrell Miller.
Yes, Ventrell Miller was awesome.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely stepped up, and to kind of go a little bit more on that defense. We didn't have those practices, and that is probably the one thing that you really have to practice because tackling is a physical thing, and if you're not in that physical mode, going in for those tackles, that's hard to get into it during game day. So you really have to practice that, and I think you're going to see that throughout the league for a little while. And again, we did have I didn't realize how many players were actually out until after the game, but there's quite a few on that defensive side that were some big names that didn't play, which it's good to see some of the other guys get in there and still be able to pull out the win because now you can rotate them guys through the season. So the defense is definitely going to get better as the more experience comes
Yeah,
along.
you got them in on game one, so
Yep.
they can kind of shake out the nerves for that game one on the road.
Yeah. And it was
Now we'll come back home.
Lane Kiffin. And like I said, last week, this wasn't going to be Lane Kiffin was going to score points. I mean, he threw everything out he threw out trick plays. He got the ball down the field to a second quarterback.
He even put the quarterback at wide receiver for crying
yeah,
out loud.
he was doing stuff that you just wouldn't normally see from a football program. So, and again, I think Dan hit into it that they couldn't really game plan for that. They kind of had to watch some old films from what Lane and some of these coaches did at other schools, and so that makes it a challenge to have to play somebody. The rest of these games, we're going to have game film on these guys.
Exactly. And I gotta say this, and football is a bang bang sport, and you're gonna have the physicality, and things aren't going to happen as slow as you would like for them to. And when it came to that Sean Davis play, I was real disappointed at the targeting call that was confirmed, and he was ejected from the game because
That was not targeting.
many of us watched that play, and I seen it after the game. On I think it was on Twitter. You have Claire Elam that is on his back pulling him down, and then you have Sean Davis lower his shoulder and hit him with the shoulder pads, not the helmet. He didn't lead with the helmet. He led with his shoulder pads. Unfortunately, their helmets did collide, but that was only because Claire Elam was pulling him down and Sean Davis came in for the hit. To me, that right there it's a bang bang thing, and you just gotta let that play go because there no way in the world was that intentional. Was it vicious? It had no point of being a targeting call, and I was real disappointed that the refs came away with ruling that a target and ejecting Sean Davis because when I first seen it and the flag got thrown, I'm like, okay, maybe 15 yards for you can say unnecessary roughness, whatever, but to call that targeting and to say like he brutally meant to do it is absurd to me.
I agree with you. That's
my little rant. But I just didn't agree with it. I just didn't.
Yeah,
I agree. With
I get it. I get why they call that, and it's really gotten. I mean, it's really close now.
I'm sorry, but it's like flag freaking football. Let the guys tackle instead of
Yeah,
flag there, flag.
I think it's
You know,
really just coming down to trying to protect the
there you go.
players. So I get it. I get it. I don't agree with the call, but I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of that even get worse as the years go on, because that seems like every year they're getting more and more onto that. I mean, if the helmet's just touched, it seems like they're throwing that flag out there.
Oh no, he touched it. We gotta
I,
Yeah,
I
throw a
get,
flag. Oh no,
and
he
I
touched
get,
him.
and I understand why they review those types of plays because some of
I
them
don't
are
agree with that. I don't
ridiculous.
agree with all of them, but I do see that
I don't agree with all of
a
them.
lot
I
of them are
like
going to
the
get
fact
called
that
targeting.
they review them. I think
Yeah.
a review is great because you don't want to just say throw the flag and just that's that you're ejected. At least they review
Yeah.
them and then determine whether it's targeting or not. But that,
Yeah.
like we're all saying, we're all in agreement that that one to me was not one that should have been
Yeah.
considered a targeting. I just feel like maybe because if Claire Elam didn't pull him down, he's hitting him right in the chest plate um, with a shoulder pad, and that's the play. I don't get how you can. They say don't go too low, don't go too high. Well, he came right in the middle, but with Claire Elam on his back, it just happened to happen like that. Bang
Yeah.
bang play. We've football is becoming soft. I
Yeah.
know those of you will say, well, it's for the player safety. Well, I get all that. I'm all for player safety. I really am. But, when things are, happen so quickly and you're reviewing them, look at the play in fast motion, look at play in slow motion, and kind of determine, okay, was this a malicious intent or was it just kind of the sport of football?
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
one of the comment. I'm just touching on some of these comments, but says the Gators win the East. Gators will beat Georgia this year.
Yeah, I'm seeing some of that. All I'm seeing is Facebook user. So go to the little link in the description, um, and you'll be able to show it to where I can see your name, or type your name and let me know who said that comment. Um, because we really want to be able to address you guys and put y'all in the spotlight. Here on the podcast. 'Cause, you guys are great. Um, but
Speaking of Georgia,
when you look
speaking
around
of
the
Georgia, they looked pretty
SEC,
bad on Saturday.
when you look around the SEC at the some of the other games that were played, I thought when I looked at that Georgia Arkansas game, and at halftime that game was 7-5, and I was like, what is going on with Georgia? Georgia,
Georgia did not blow out Arkansas like they should have.
no.
So Georgia has problems. There are some real problems in Georgia.
Mhm.
I honestly think this is the best chance to win the East since Mo's been here.
Oh, this is Florida's chance to win it. We get South Carolina. Obviously Tennessee's they looked okay. Not as dominating as I thought they would. But, and then you did have some big upsets. Oklahoma lost, which was a surprise to me,
Well, probably
and then
move on.
LSU lost, which was
Which
very
is
surprising to me. But some big
Uh,
upsets this weekend.
yeah, it's huge to see the defending champs lose, and I think I seen a stat that that's the first time that a team has lost after winning a season opener after winning the national title. So that's huge alone. And what's even a bigger
I
stat
don't I
is
don't
we
think
know
the LSU
LSU
this
didn't
LSU
really
team is
have
going to
the
be as good as last
defense,
year's.
but Mississippi State, their quarterback, uh, he
623
lit up
yards.
that defense. That defense had no answer for
Yeah,
the Mississippi State.
623 yards.
Hmm. That's
123.
huge.
That's big.
That's,
Hey,
that's
that one somebody did comment their name on there for Tennessee there.
oh, John from Tennessee, big time Gator fan, and said that Florida will beat Georgia. I think if any year to beat Georgia will be this year. Um, I don't exactly know how they're going to do the fan situating in Jacksonville. So the obviously that game is usually neutral anyway. Um, but when we get to that game November 7th, I'm really looking forward to that game at 3:30. I just we have got to get over this Georgia hump.
Yes.
That is the biggest thing of this year that we have to do.
Been
Uh,
so close.
we've been so close the past
Last year we
3
only
years.
lost by 7. That was our worst game of the year.
Yeah, the last 3 years, each year we've cut down Georgia's lead, and last year was a 7 point game, and then
And that was
in the
probably our
second
worst game of
half,
the year too.
we didn't have the ball much in the second half, but each time we had it, we scored. We were coming back. If you would have gave us a little more time, I think Florida would have came away with the win in that game as well, but or at least been able to make it a little more competitive than what it was because our biggest thing in the Georgia game was the rushing. We didn't have
Yeah.
a good
What was
rushing
it? What was
at
it
all.
like for 7 yards or something like that? 7 yards.
We had I think it was like 19 attempts and 21
Yeah.
yards or something like that. It was just
And
not.
some terrible ref calls.
Yeah, yeah. But
Talk about the catch
we
that wasn't a
speaking
catch.
of the refs, we won't talk about how the refs play into factor because there are other ways and other plays that determine what could have happened in that game. Yes, I get that those were some huge crucial calls that did go our way or did not go our way, but I mean we just I don't like to put and say that the refs were a reason why this happened or that happened.
I'll say it for you,
Because I
Bobby.
just feel like there's other there's I just feel like there's other plays that we could talk about.
Yeah, no, you're
But
right.
this weekend, when we play South Carolina at noon, another noon game.
Which
So
is
we got
gonna
to get up
suck.
bright and early for that. Yep. Um, Muschamp comes to Gainesville with South Carolina, and South
We're minus
Carolina
20.
put up
We're
a hell
minus
of a game
22
against
favorite.
Tennessee.
They did, and
We're
they're going to
minus.
want some revenge from that game. So they're going to be ready.
We're a
Yeah,
minus 22-point favorite.
yeah. I think Tennessee and South Carolina. That was a real good game.
That was close.
Tennessee
I was
came out on
actually,
top.
I knew Tennessee was probably going to win that game, but in reality, I was really hoping South Carolina would pull it off because that would have given Tennessee a loss. That would have given Kentucky a loss. And then we would have had South Carolina this weekend, which really would have put us in a good spot,
Right.
with Georgia. So, it is what it is. We're going to beat them all anyway. But
Well, any team that you play on your schedule, and I know it's not going to happen that way because it's all SEC play, and you're going to have these teams lose and
yeah,
whatnot. But you want every team to be undefeated, when they get to you. So it would have been good to see South Carolina get that win over Tennessee. That way, going into week two, both teams are 1-0. They both got to win, and they can go into game two
yeah.
and try to get their next win.
We win big in Gainesville this weekend, though.
Coming in
I
front of the
think
home crowd, 17,000. I think we will come away with the win. I think like we were mentioning earlier about film and whatnot, we can get some film on Will Muschamp's Gamecocks and have a plan for them and be able to execute it. And I really do believe that this week will be a big focus on tackling and on the defensive end. We'll have Sean Davis back. We'll have Brad Stewart back. We'll have what's his name, Kyrie Campbell back. We'll have Ethan White back on the offensive line. We'll have a lot of players coming back this week that we really did miss.
Yeah. I don't know if that was John there, but he said 45-17.
Um,
I'm
we
not
will
sure.
get into predictions later on this week.
Yeah.
We'll drop mine, but 45-17.
I'll
I
get my
would agree with something like that.
we're gonna do our. I'm gonna do the start the prediction for next week after the
So
after
I
we.
meant to ask you about that, Lucas. Was anybody? I mean, I didn't think we would get 51 points,
I
but
don't.
was
Somebody
anybody
got
even
it.
close to that?
Somebody got it. I don't even. I can't remember his name, but it kind of
He
somebody.
was pretty close. I'm happy we did 51, but I didn't think that was going to happen first game.
I didn't think it was going to happen either. I thought it would be kind of a sloppy start, which
I'll do the.
actually the first quarter wasn't too shabby. Um, I think we had a good tempo going, in that game.
Anyway,
Um,
I'll do the. I'll start the the contest after we do the pod.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, Stewart dealing with the suspension. Yeah, he'll be back. I had seen so much about him. I really never got the insight of exactly what happened with Brad Stewart because it went from him not being on the official depth chart for week one to Dan Mullen saying that they were available, and then come game day that they're not playing and that they weren't available.
Said,
So I,
yeah, and I know we mentioned that in the other video. I really think that with a couple of those guys, I don't know if it's necessarily COVID, but they could have been sick or ill or something. Because
yeah,
usually, if it's a suspension or if it's like a punishment or even an injury, they usually give an update on that stuff pretty regularly, and they're pretty open about that. But
hmm
they're so quiet about a lot of those guys that were out. I feel like maybe there was just something that they just weren't comfortable about him going out there. It may have not even been COVID. He could have just been sick or
hmm
something. But
whatever
um,
the case may be,
yeah,
whatever he was going through, we're glad that he's back and that he was able to deal with that
yeah,
over the week and
yeah. We're
and
gonna need everybody. I mean, this weekend, I think we'll win regardless. But we're gonna need everybody coming up. I mean, we got some games coming.
We got
uh,
A&M after this.
yeah, those of y'all who seen, I don't know if y'all seen it, but I seen it and I posted it on the Gator Gang page that the Texas A&M game will either be a noon game or a 3:30 game, depending on the other game, which I think is Tennessee and somebody
I'm
else.
really hoping it's a late game. We need a late game. I can't take these noon games.
Yeah, it'll be a either noon or 3:30 game. It's depending on
I'm
another one. Let
I'm
me go to.
hoping 3:30, but I'm not.
I'm really hoping it'll be 3:30 as well,
Me too. But I
because
got to work that weekend.
That way, if I have homework, I can get it done and not have to rush.
yeah, it's right here. The Florida at A&M and the Tennessee at Georgia. One will be 3:30 and one will be noon. The 3:30 game will be on CBS, obviously,
Who's
and the
playing
the noon game
Georgia?
will be on ESPN.
Who's
Uh,
playing?
Tennessee. So
Oh,
we'll
they
just
got to put Florida and A&M in there. They got to, especially if A&M goes and wins this weekend, and Florida goes and wins this weekend. They got to put Florida and A&M
right. I think
in
I
there.
think that'll be a good matchup. I think they're just kind of wanting to see what happens this weekend. Who gets the win?
Yeah. So about A&M, what do y'all think about that game?
I
Uh,
didn't wa- I didn't watch it, but I heard A&M was
They,
pretty bad. So
so they struggled, but they were also very vanilla. So I mean, they ran the ball almost every play. They passed screens. So very vanilla. So I
I
think
mean,
they were waiting. I think
it's
they're
one of those
holding out.
things. Of,
I
it's a week one.
honestly the ceiling for this team to me is 10-0, and the floor is like 8-2.
I mean, you're talking about a Vanderbilt game, Vanderbilt team that is not very good, and A&M is supposed to be a whole lot better than that. I'm not going to dig too deep into what teams did. Rather, they struggled or performed well in week one, because I just feel like with everything that's going on, you weren't expecting like week one to be what you're typically expecting the year to be like. I think from game one to game two, it's it's a build up, and that's exactly what Florida's going to do. Is we're going to be a hell of a lot better from week one to week two,
Oh
no
yeah.
doubt.
If we keep playing and putting up points, and that defense is going to get better. Florida's got a really good shot. I mean, they just I don't see
I
who
don't know
beats
if you
them.
guys I don't know if you guys saw it, but I posted something about the bowl predictions or have us in the playoff as the
Oh
number
yeah,
four
I mean
seed.
they jumped us. I mean they jumped us over Georgia, which I thought that was kind of surprising. I really did. I know Georgia struggled to Arkansas, but usually the committee don't just jump people. I mean, Florida had to have shown something for them to do that. So I think with that big score, 51, and I know our defense struggled a little bit, but I think they think Florida can get better there. So they're seeing something.
Yeah, that's the one thing I wanted to bring up. I'm glad you reminded us that the AP poll came out, and you got Florida at number three. Jumps Georgia with LSU and Oklahoma losing. I figured, okay, we're going to jump up to number 4. Well,
Yeah.
we'll be right under Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, Florida. But to get that jump over Florida, like you said, they had to have seen something in Florida, which
Mhm.
offensively we looked a whole lot better than Georgia. But with Georgia, having our number the past 3 years, that always kind of somehow plays an
Yeah.
effect some way somehow. Um,
I've
but
always said,
I like that we are number 3.
Oh
I
yeah.
have always said year 3 would be the year, and I honestly think the year 3 is the year we get Georgia and win the Eastern Division.
I think the East is a real good shot. We just got to get over Georgia. I think they're the thorn in our
Hey,
back that we've got to get over.
hey, I don't know if you all can see this, but I sent that money. I don't know why it took so stinking long to get there, but Scotty got his money. He posted his picture with it on Facebook. I don't know if
Oh,
you all
I,
can't
I, I
see
got
it.
I got the notification for that, but I haven't looked
Yeah.
at it yet.
Look at that.
Um, with
He's
me,
holding.
there you go.
Look at
So
that.
there you go. Those of y'all who are watching when we had the contest with the 3 questions and posting a picture of you doing the Gator Chomp or video doing the Gator Chomp. Scotty was the only one to enter the contest, so unanimously he's the winner, and he got the $100, and he posted it on the page. So next time we do our contest, y'all make sure y'all tune into that and have a chance to win some money.
Yeah. So maybe we'll do something for the Texas A&M game.
All right. So we got this week South Carolina. Then we get to game week of Texas A&M, and we'll do something there. And on the recap of the South Carolina game, we will give more details on what we're going to do for that contest. So with all that being said, we had a great week 1. Defensively, we struggled, but
Oh, should I say number
we
3?
came away with the win.
And it-
We know where the issues lie. We know they're very correctable issues. So let's just go from week 1 to week 2, and I'm feeling really good and really confident that the defense is going to step up. Because of, as many players like Jeremiah Moon, who I had kind of forgot about, but he didn't even play. So he's one that we'd really miss as well. So I'm looking forward to this South Carolina game. What I'm not looking forward to is another noon game, but it is what it is. I'm just glad to have some Gator football. So I'm
yeah.
gonna count my blessings and be thankful that we are having football
At least we'll get ours over with, and we'll know what we got.
and see where we stand and get to
Yeah.
watch some of the other games around the league
Yeah.
and around the nation and go from there.
That's it.
Um, any other comments y'all want to leave off before we jump off here?
Nope, nope. My parents will be streaming the game on Saturday, and then I'll be listening to mix. So if you guys, I I tried to stream it in my room, but it kept freezing. So my parents are drinking and streaming out in the living room. So I'm just gonna let you guys know.
Okay. Well, we'll talk more about that when we get to our when we do our show Friday night at 7:15, and to get y'all ready for the game Saturday at noon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the previews will now be Friday, and then the recaps will be Monday instead of
E-
Thursday.
Exactly. We will have
So
our pregame Friday night and our postgame
yeah,
Monday night.
I guess my closing is, man, it's gonna be a crazy year, and I'm ready, man. I'm pumped for it. Go Gators!
Go
Go
Gators!
Gators!
And you know how we end this show. If
If
you
you
ain't a
ain't
Gator,
a Gator,
you
you
must
must
be
be
Must be a
Gator.
Gator.
Gator,
Gator
baby.
bait.